Welcome to the Work Hard, Play Hard podcast. My name is Rob Murgatroyd, and I am a former doctor turned lifestyle entrepreneur. Each week, I interview some of the best minds on the planet on the science of achievement and the art of fulfillment. Today's episode is a mini-sode that we call Fri-Date with the Wife. In these mini-sodes, my wife Kim and I deconstruct the strategies that we've developed over the last decade to not only grow personally, but to turn our struggles into lessons and create fulfillment in all areas of our lives. Excuses are over. It's time to live. Let's dig into today's topic. All right, before we jump into this episode, I want to invite you to be considered for my Work Hard, Play Hard Mastermind by completing an application at workhardplayhardmastermind.com. So this mastermind is not like any mastermind you may have been to or heard of, I promise you. This mastermind is for 6 to 7 figure entrepreneurs that are working too damn much and aren't taking the time to have amazing experiences around the world with an incredible tribe of people. So every 100 days or so, I drop you into new experiences that are specifically designed to elevate your thinking, to give you new ideas. Look, you get your best ideas not staring at a computer. And actually, this is the way high-level people really collaborate with each other. They do it over a glass of champagne, watching the sunset in the south of France. So if you are ready to do some fun stuff around the world and really, really want to level up your tribe in one shot, fill out an application at workhardplayhardmastermind.com. We'll jump on a call and we'll see if it's a good fit. All right, let's jump into today's episode. Kimberly, Co-Love 20.
Co-Love?
Yeah, it's different than
You changed it?
Yeah, it's different than COVID-19. You are Co-Love 20.
Did you just come up with that?
No, stole it from Joe Dispenza. I got an email today. It was all I can think of because I'm tired. I've been traveling, first time on an airplane in 4 freaking months.
And how did that go?
Don't tell anybody. I took my mask off when no one was looking.
Oh my God. Breaking all the rules.
Breaking all the rules. Well, hey, we are going to be talking about 3 things as we come out of this COVID situation. You know, we're not completely out as of the airing of this episode, but we're dipping a big toe into
coming out. I like the world too. As my 5-year-old says, Mom, you suck at singing.
What are the 3 things that we are going to tell them other than you're singing today?
Other than that, I suck at that. All right. So the 3 things we're going to talk about, we've kind of talked briefly over in the last couple of episodes, maybe, but I think we'll go a little deeper today. So the first one is finding joy and the importance of finding joy in every day, every aspect, and how it is sometimes very easy to find it and sometimes how it's not so easy to find it.
Well, give me an example. Before you go into the other 2, let's just take them one at a time.
No. Let's just overview, quick overview. The second one is going to be to love where you're at and I know we've talked about that before. And then the last one is for you, my dear husband, stop trying to control everything.
I know.
All right. So these are our 3. So let's go to number 1, finding joy. Talk to me. Finding joy.
Well, look.
3, 2, 1, go.
All right. So what we're after with finding joy is really as simple as that. We're looking to reach for the next great feeling that we can have. And it's weird, you know, our brain is designed to protect us. And because it's designed to protect us, it's always looking for what's wrong. And when you're looking for what's wrong, you find what's wrong and you don't really find joy. So for me, looking to find those things that are joyful is a very active process. It's not easy. So, we start the day in the morning, listening to affirmations, et cetera, to kind of get us in the right vibe. But I think it's a constant, reminder as you're going through it. And it's an interesting thing because no matter how stressed or upset or frustrated you are, if you look for something that is joyful, what feels good, it's interesting the answers that will come up. Like I'll give you a silly example. Normally on on this day. We're recording this on the Sunday. Don't tell anybody. I know it's called Fri-Date, but we're recording this on the Sunday.
So scandalous.
I know. Normally on the Sunday, you don't really need to know this, but I clean my bathroom on the Sunday, right?
Oh my God.
That's my Sunday ritual. But this morning I was like,
amazing ritual for a Sunday.
But I was like, I don't want to clean it, right? I just don't want to clean it. And I was like, okay, well, what would feel good? And so
someone else cleaned it.
No, nobody else cleaned it. I just thought about like, what are things that would feel good? And I just went around the house today, and some of it was reading, some of it was stretching, some of it was watering the plants out there in the sun. And I'm not suggesting that you should use it as a form of procrastination, but I'm saying that there is something that's inside of you that is guiding you and leading you and telling you what to do all the time. This internal guidance system is constantly telling you what feels good. And when you feel good, you're vibrating at a different frequency, a different level, and you're attracting different things. So that's what it means to me. What about you?
So, the finding of joy, right? As I go deeper into this, we've talked about Abraham / Esther. We've talked about Gabby Bernstein. We've talked about a lot of things, right? I almost said Wayne Diamond. What's his name?
Wayne Dyer.
Wayne Dyer.
Not to be confused with Wayne.
Not to be confused with Wayne Diamond, who was in
Uncut Gems
with Adam Sandler. So totally different human being. But, when I look at finding the joy, right? So there's finding joy in the daily. And when I find that I'm frustrated with, just, God, if I have to, it's like I have to ask Sophia to do something 82 times before she actually does it because she wants to test every freaking limit of my patience.
Sophia's our 5-year-old daughter.
Yes. And so I have to ask her, it literally has to get to the point of consequences before she's willing to give in. And it could be something super easy and benign, but it's like trying to find joy in those moments is where it's hard. Finding joy in normal, happy moments, Rob and I with a glass of wine outside, looking at the birds or whatever. Okay, those are easy moments, but I find that the struggle and the work is in finding joy when the shit is hitting the fan. And so what I'm trying to do, that's not super successful all the time, but what I'm trying to do is lean into that.
If you're finding yourself feeling stuck or frustrated where you're pushing, trying to go to the next thing to accomplish your goals, ask yourself where the joy is. And I think what's important to consider in doing this is that this is not a pass on doing work. If the joy is...
If the bathroom has to be cleaned.
If it has to be cleaned and you're just putting it off because you'd rather watch Netflix, that's another thing. But if you're asking yourself, what would give me joy right now? And only you are going to know the answer. So in Kim's case, she was feeling bunched up about some things and she's like, I just need to get out. And so that led her to a walk with a butterfly. So there you go. Number 2.
All right. So the second thing in our, what we've learned in the quarantine is to love where you're at. And this was a huge one. Huge. Do you want to start? You want me to start? Where do you want to start?
Okay. So loving where you're at. So
loving where you're at. And
I am always looking to improve. No matter what I have. If I have a body that looks like this, I want it to be better. If I have a house that looks like this, I want it to be better. A bank account that looks like this, I want it to be better. The problem in doing that is that if you focus on where you want to go and look at where you are as what you don't like, then it makes it very, very difficult for you to be able to manifest what you want because you're coming from this place of lack as opposed to coming from the place of a higher vibration. So what we've been taught and what we've been practicing and what seems to be working out is to really, really love where you are and want to go to the next thing. So for example, we're in a house right now that is not an ocean view. I could easily say, I'm pissed off. I mean, I know this sounds obnoxious actually coming out of my mouth, but I'm pissed off that I don't have an ocean view, or it's frustrating, or why does everybody have a view but me? You know what I'm talking about, where you go down that rabbit hole, right? Instead, what I've learned to do is to walk around and look at everything and say, oh, I have a beautiful deck. I have birds out here. I have a great backyard. All of these things are true, by the way. I have a beautiful shelter for my family. You know, all of these things, and we can go, you know, I can go room by room and find something that I love. So when I'm coming from that place of what I love, and I'd love to wake up in the morning and have an ocean view. It feels completely different than coming from a place of, I hate where I am. That's how I'm taking it. What about you?
No, that's exactly it. So if it's your body, you know, do a body scan. Like, we all want to improve. I want to improve, right? So start at the top, start at the bottom, wherever you're comfortable, and scan your body. I love my hair because I like my eyes. I really appreciate the fact that my heart is still beating. You know, I am grateful for my lungs being able to take in the deep breath. I love that I don't look 400 years old. I don't know, whatever it is for your body. Love where you're at. That doesn't mean, like, you know, look, people get into this self-love thing where it's like, I'm going to love every single thing. And it's not about that. It's not about loving all of it all the time. It's about find the things that you truly can step into 100% authentically and say, I love this about me. Don't bullshit yourself and say, I love my muffin top if you don't love your muffin top, okay? Because that is not going to fly, because that's incongruent. That's not authentic. If you don't love something, don't say it. But find the things you do love. Find where you are at. If it's your job, you might hate what you're doing, but you might love the people in your building. You might love the hours you work. You might love
your boss, the coffee that gets delivered, the perks that you have at the job, whatever.
So find the things you absolutely love and be hopeful, optimistic, grateful, and excited for the things that you're manifesting.
That's a really, really good point. I'm really glad that you highlighted that point, because it's very easy to use a Tony Robbinsism. It's very easy to walk into your garden and go, there's no weeds, there's no weeds, there's no weeds, there's no weeds. That's bullshit. Or you can look at it and say, in the garden, there are these beautiful flowers that I have, and I'm grateful for those flowers. So I love that piece of recognizing all of the things that truly you do love, because you're not going to raise your vibration by kidding yourself if you hate the curtains that are on your wall, saying, I love these curtains in my house. If you don't,
but be grateful you have fucking curtains, because guess what? Then the sun would come up and it would wake your damn ass up earlier than...
Which would be a true statement.
Which would be a true statement. So you have to go with the true statement. If there's anything that I've learned in the last 90 days, is you got to go with the true factual statement that you can really feel the vibration of, not the bullshit thing that you're going to try to trick yourself into believing because someone told you it was supposed to be that way. No, find the things you truly, truly, truly love. And in every situation, even the shittiest of situations, there's something you can love. And what do you want next?
All right. Well,
and lean in on that vibration.
Well, I felt your vibration there.
That's
for sure. That vibration just hit me right between the eyes. And number 3.
Well, this one's for you. Stop trying to control everything. Well, it's for you, but it's for me too.
All right, let me control this podcast right now.
All right.
Controlling everything. I'm reading a book by Michael Singer called The Surrender Experiment. And
how's that going?
Every time I look at the title, I'm like, fuck you. Fuck you and surrender.
Because he wants to control
I'm not going to surrender. I can't surrender. I can't wave a white flag. That means that I'm weak. That means that nothing, like so look, this is not an easy thing. This is a everyday practice that I have to go through to surrender it over to the universe. That does not mean don't take action. It does not mean don't focus on achieving your goals and just go, to a monastery and become a monk, although you could if you want. But really what this is saying is to surrender to the universe and trust that things are happening for you and not to you. And somehow, some way, this world seems to spin with 6 billion people in the middle of space, made of 70% water without any bit of your help. The bees, and the rhinos, rhino. None of it has anything to do with you. So why not just surrender to the process? So those 2 pieces of information for me, those 3 that we just gave really, but the big 2 ones for me that I've been allowing my life to be guided by, which has made a significant difference, and frankly, a lot more manifestation has been happening since we've done these 2 things. And the first one is, or whatever order, is what we just talked about, which is to surrender. And the other one is to be really, really grateful for where you are, recognize those things, and want to get to...
And stay in joy. So 3 things.
And
all of them.
And the third one is to stay in joy.
But the controlling, let me go back to the controlling real quick, because that I think is a really hard thing for people that lean in on control. So people that grew up and maybe had environments in their childhood or their early adulthood that they didn't have a lot of control. In my friendships in life, those people tend to want to control everything. And I think it's very difficult to relinquish that control. But can you tell me why it's so important to relinquish that control, in your opinion?
Okay, let me put it this way. Let's say that you have a certain thing that you're after, and you say, okay, this is the thing I want. I want a new car. This is how I'm going to get this car. I'm going to work this many hours. I'm going to make this much money, and I'm going to do A, B, C, and D, and I'm going to put a down payment on the car, and I'm going to get the car. And then something comes into your orbit that's different. And you don't acknowledge or look at it the way you should be looking at it because you have a different plan in your mind about how this is supposed to go.
Okay, so an opportunity could come up, a conflict could come up, so many things could come up, but you're so blind because you have decided this is the path of how you're getting what you want that you're not willing to see that there could be an easier path or a different path or a giant obstacle in your path, but you are hell-bound on your path because you decided it so.
Or maybe the path, maybe that wasn't your plan. Mm-hmm. Maybe you don't really want the car, or maybe the car isn't right for you, or maybe you're going to get into a car accident if you get the car. Who knows what it is? But the point is that if you surrender, it's always fascinating to me when I see people say things like, I guess it wasn't meant to be. I'm like, my old person was like, because you didn't make it happen. That's why. But now I'm starting to go, there's peace in that, like put out the antenna for what you want and know that it might not be exactly what you want, or it might be exactly what you want. But I can tell you this, the steps to accomplishing it are likely going to be different.
So manifest what you want. What is the thing you truly, truly want? Not what your ego wants, but that you really want, but surrender the journey and say, I'm going to take the next step that shows up in front of me. I'm going to do the work, but I'm going to surrender the path, the journey, because it could be different. Because for you, your journey to California, what you thought it was going to be a decade plus ago, was through selling multiple chiropractic offices and this whole facocked plan of doing that, which, by the way, other people did successfully, and they achieved what they wanted.
Wasn't my path.
But it wasn't your path. Your path was different. But if you had stuck so true to that other path, the one that was laid out by a business coach and the one that was the other people were doing and the one that you thought you should do and should it all over yourself, if you had not been brave enough to say, this may not be my path, I'm going to do something different. It might take me a little longer. It might be a little windier, but I'm going to get there. I think that is the lesson there. That's the lesson of surrender. It's surrender the journey, surrender the path. It's not going to look exactly how you're planning it, but if you keep the joy, you stay in the present, you do the work, you love where you're at, but you hold the vision of where you want to go and you surrender the path, I think anything is possible.
who's to say that what is unfolding before you isn't the plan?
Has it ever not been?
I'm still here. I'm still kicking, and everything is always working out for us. So, I'm grateful that I'm slowly starting to surrender. Well, listen, that's it, everybody. I'm glad that things are starting to open up for everybody, and states are starting to let people do things like go out in the sunshine and shake hands and hug each other. I got a chance to travel. High elbow. Got a chance to travel this weekend, and my buddy Darren, when I ran into him, he said, it feels so good to hug somebody. This is just nice.
Doesn't it?
Well, that's it, everybody. Have a great week, and we'll see you next week. All right. Thanks for listening. If you love this episode and you know someone that needs some help in either stepping up their work hard game or their play hard game, it would mean the world to me if you shared this podcast with them to help me get this movement out there. So if you like what you heard, head on over to iTunes, take 30 seconds, and leave me a 5-star review, and I will be forever grateful. So until the next episode, excuses are over. It's time to live.